Hi, everybody. How are you? It's Friday, and once again, it is time to rank 8-bit Nintendo games. My name is Jeff, and we're here to conduct the science. I have a list of ranked games here with me, and 636 games adorn the list. Perfect for the holiday gift-giving season is this list of games. You know, you could just send this to someone and say, I want these. By order of ranking. And they might say, would you like Harlem Globetrotters? And you could say, well, that's the bottom of the list. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd start there. Maybe a little closer to the top of the list where we've got Mega Man 2. Currently our highest ranked game. And there's a lot of games in between. There's Fire and Ice. There's, Muscle Tag Team Match. Top Gun. All the hits. If you would like to influence the list, you can. Head over to patreon.com/Jeff Gerstmann right now. And sign on up. If you join the advisory panel, you can advise me by selecting games for this very feature. You also, of course, get access to the Discord. Ad-free version of the podcast every week. A bonus podcast on Wednesdays. Early access to the Jeff Gerstmann Hall of Fame and more. That's right. Head on over to Patreon right now. I think you can give that as a gift. I think they finally set up something where you can get Patreon memberships as gifts for people. I believe they've added that. I think that was on their product roadmap. Anyway, let's get into it. Thanks everybody for supporting this important endeavor via Patreon. It's been a wonderful year of ranking a lot of these games, a wonderful 2 years and change of ranking a lot of these games. And let's get right back into it. Raymond wanted to see this game. We've been trying to get to it for a couple of weeks, and it was not. We kept running out of time. Let's. Where are we? Where's this? Where's this? Is this? This is this. Raymond wanted to see a game. This is a first-party release from Nintendo. The familiar sports jingle, but this time it's pro wrestling, a sports entertainment. Okay, we get little bios on the guys. All right, a back brain kick, a somersault kick, and a flying cross chop. It's important to have like secondary finishers, Buckshot lariat's cool, but like you need the dead eye to kind of like really. Iron Claw, the headbutt, Giant Panther. The Outlaw Choke. All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna try this Starman. The crowd is going nuts for that somersault kick. Come on now. Oh. So, like, standing, you got to punch, you got to kick. It's kind of... I don't know. You know, in the grapple, it feels like a very standard for kind of wrestling games of this era. You know, you're kind of pushing a direction and a button, and you know, probably mashing the heck out of that button to make it happen. Ugh. Hit him with the crossbody. The crowd loves it. Okay, we win. Oh. This jumping chop is very... It's a very good attack for the era when this game was made. The like, I'm gonna jump and land on you with this chop thing is yeah, it's good. Good. Yes, we've collided. Some nice touches with, you know, that you got the announcers there in the background. You got a cameraman. You know, kind of like pretty good for you know, the 86 copyright date on this thing. But when I hit these special moves, I want to pin him. You know what I mean? It's a little, so this is not I did not play this game when it first came out, and you know, like a friend, like someone who I did not hang out with on a regular basis had it, so I like kind of saw it once, and I remember being really unimpressed with just how this game played. And you know, honestly, I think it's interesting because I don't think this game is dramatically different from a lot of the other wrestling games on the platform. It's kind of, again, you know, it is you're hitting directions and buttons. You're trying to there we go. There's not a lot happening here, you know? And I think even then, you know, like at that point, I was already kind of not really interested in these kind of like, you know, mash to win, like that concept in wrestling, the like mash buttons to, you know, exert your will over that of your opponent, who's mashing the buttons faster. Like, I think that's just, you understand why it would happen, right? It was like, okay, it's like a very natural thing, I think, to happen when you're making a game like this. but I don't think it's very fun to play for long. And, you know, this game, with its relatively repetitive music on top of that, I think that, like, it's got problems. But, like, that's a really good crossbody. Like, you know, I think there's stuff this game does that, it certainly does it better than a lot of other games of the era. Yeah. Like, I think the way they handle striking and stuff, the like little spin kick that most characters do, the punch, the range on the punch sucks, like, but also, you know, any one of those seems to just kind of knock people down, and, you know, it's just, there's, for as much character as they have given these characters, and you know, and they gave them special moves, which I think, you know, like, was not always the case at this time. It's just, it needed a little bit more, I think. Like, the early parts of these matches where no one is tired enough to, like, really stay stunned for long, you end up in these, you know, weird kick fights that just, they look bad, they feel bad, like, it's just, you know, and so these matches I'm winning, I sat down, like, not long before we started ranking these games. I sat down with this game and said, you know what, I'm gonna actually, like, figure out what the fuck it is about this game that people like, because I've never liked it. And I finally, like, won a match and figured out, like, okay, this is what they want you to do to, you know, succeed in this game. You're, you know, like, it's a mix of, like, these sorts of, you know, not that I became some expert in the game or whatever, but I spent enough time with it to where I could win a match. Oh, Harley Race rising knee. Anyway, like, my findings there were, like, okay, I like the cool thing this game does is that the characters are, like, interesting, kind of, you know, in some cases pastiches of wrestlers of the era, and you know, they give them character by way of these special moves, and a few other kind of differences on the move list, and that stuff is good. Like, it's like, especially for this time, at a time when a lot of characters just felt very generic, like, there's a little bit more here than you get in the average game, but also within reason. Like, I think when we look at, like, WCW, where they have you, like, pick, like, special moves and which direction you want to do to, you know, like, when you pick your character, you pick a little bit of a move set to go with it, and I think that's bad. You know, that game has plenty of issues, you know. No rope breaks out here, man. It's neat, you know, they have you kind of build up to winning the title and then it just becomes title defenses. You know, which is a justified way to kind of... just having your way with him. And on top of that, you could argue that, like, you know, as far as like the pacing of a real wrestling match and the systems and things that later wrestling games would try to employ to better represent the momentum swings of a wrestling match, you know, like none of that's really present here. You're just whipping these fuckers' asses. Crowd loves it. The crowd, you know, like having the crowd go nuts when you hit these big moves, when you hit your character's kind of specific moves. I mean, I hesitate to call them finishers because they're very much not. I mean, there's no, you don't know, you're not building up momentum to do that move. You're just like, it can be the first move out of the gate, and the second move, and the third move. Defending number 2. And so I guess like I would call this game like it's relatively modest. You know, it is not a super deep game. You know, the roster is not massive. Like Muscle Tag Team Wrestling has a much larger roster of characters. Much larger is maybe overselling it a little bit, but I think they do a better job here than most other wrestling games as of differentiating the characters that you have at your disposal, you know? I think this game does a much better job of like selling the fantasy of professional wrestling than, I mean, certainly any of the WWF games we've seen, any of the licensed games we've seen so far. And of course, I mean, you know, yeah, like Tecmo's wrestling game is really amazing, like presentationally, and it plays pretty well too. So like that's another great. I think that's a really great wrestling game also. Or I mean, it stands out. But also, you know, it's the structure of the way these matches work is not. Is not that great. That was kind of the most interesting finding when I sat down and said, okay, I'm going to figure out how to actually play this game after years of really not knowing and not spending a lot of time with it, was just kind of how bare bones a lot of the action really is. Like, I found that to be pretty surprising. But, you know, like, I'll give him credit. Like, those moves are always, like, that little, you know, the somersault kick is down an A. That crossbody, which is also considered to be a kind of a signature move for Starman here. That's just, you whip them into the ropes and you hit A when they're coming back. It's not some complicated input. Oh, gosh. Is that a fork? He stabbed me in the head with a fork. Oh, that's... Okay, all right, King Slender. That's right, that's right. I do think there would be room for, like, another one of these. Like, you know, like, Nintendo never really did anything with these characters. It's one of those situations where I think, you know, like, Starman in particular became, you know, somewhat legendary here in the States, and I bet that doesn't translate overseas, so much like Metroid. I still don't know what those noises are. I assume it means that, you know, Starman got some color. Oh gosh, look at how low his head was on that. I assume this just rotates forever, right? I assume this is just a never-ending thing. Hi, the baby's back. Hello, and my window's open. What you doing? We got grapes? Hooray. All right. Don't put your mouth on the screen. It's dirty. Stands outside the window. Puts her face on the window screen. Oh. And, you know, there's a little bit of strategy to be had. And, you know, like you see the AI kind of doing it a little bit, you know, just trying to anticipate the range of that kick and back away as soon as I start doing it, at least at the starts of these matches. Oh. Pin him! Okay. How many times in the last, like, I don't know, let's say 30 years, do you think an indie show has featured Starman? Or some guy, you know, someone just comes in and puts on a Starman outfit. Ugh. But you know, this is. I think this is good, and in some ways, it's kind of like it's disappointing in a way. But I would say that this is kind of as good as it gets. Oh my gosh. He's giving me the business now. Fuck. A little more voice or like, you know, noises out of the characters would have been nice. Come on. Yeah. What a pity. I feel like the only other like iconic like move in this is the back brain kick, right? That thing. Oh, vicious. And like, I mean, the game represents like some scenarios that I think for wrestling at the time, you know, was kind of cool. Like there are dive through the rope to the outside. There is one of those in this game. So what is it? You have to kind of like be like slightly below the opponent to trigger the move. But I don't know what the range actually is. If it's like closer than, like if I need to go in and down and there, that's it. You kind of go in and down and hit it. Oh. I like the duck there, you know, as a little counter to the clothesline. That's kind of neat. Oh, come on. Land it. I guess, does he have to be stunned for it to land? Nope. The fuck was that? What a pity. I think this is an interesting game, but it's you know, this game feels like it doesn't quite, I don't know, like it has this reputation as this like legendary video game in a lot of circles, but I think that's it, in a lot of ways. Is that just because people liked Starman? I don't know, like Starman got the bulk of the shine in the aftermath after this. It's like, you know, because like there's the John Cena fake t-shirt thing that they did. There's, you know, there's been references to it kind of that have made their way into wrestling a little bit here and there. But like I don't know, for this game to have like the reputation that it does for being like, oh man, pro wrestling's the sickest, you know, I don't know that I just don't think I agree. At least in that way. But all that said, This is definitely a game that I have come a long way on in terms of like respect for it or whatever over the last like little couple of years here. Because every time I encounter this game, like with a game that had that reputation, I play it and just be like, this is just shit. This is just a bad wrestling game. And I think there's the moves are well executed. Like there's interesting stuff in here from like a character perspective, if you will, as much as that's in here, which is not that much, but like I like that stuff about this, and I think it is very pick up and play. Like it is one of those kind of mashy games, but at the same time, with the possible exception of the back brain kick, nothing in here is especially complex. A lot of those big moves are just A, like the pile driver is down in A, and you mash it out and there it is. You could argue that it's missing a lot of the nuance of wrestling and of later wrestling games, but I think a lot of that nuance has choked wrestling games out. Like it is they have really choked the life and the fun out of wrestling video games over the last 20-30 years because they're so busy chasing like, oh, we need to have a chain wrestling system and a mini game that goes with it, and okay, we're going to add this and this and this, and this is something they do on television, so we have to try to represent that, and it's like a noble goal, but it's come at the expense of all of the fun of actually playing what could be something a little bit more like a fighting game. I don't know, like, it is just a competitive game at the end of the day, and I think there are plenty of ways to make that fun, even if you're doing it where you're walking up and down and it's not just a pure 1v1 traditional fighting game. I think there are certainly ways to make this an engaging thing, but God, whatever. I'm not going to spend the next hour. We could spend a zillion more minutes talking about how terrible wrestling games have been. I don't have time. This is fine. You know what I mean? Like this game is like, this is all right. It's a little overly simple. I think it just becomes a game about the range of that kick and, how long you're stunned after getting picked up off the mat and those sorts of things. Like the actual kind of skill-based portion of the game is a relatively thin slice of like, okay, here are the 3 or 4 things you need to get really good at, and then you'll be pretty much untouchable. You can do whatever you want with the moves, like whatever you want to do. But like, this is sort of, as long as you've mastered, the ability to step out of range of this and knowing when to step into range for it, and all of those things, like that is sort of the entire game. It's well done. Which again, like until relatively recently is not something I would say about this game at all. I think there are a couple of other, and I think the funny thing is, like, I think the wrestling games that have scored well on this list so far are kind of not because they're wrestling games. They're just kind of like the strengths of Muscle Tag Team Match don't lie in its like realistic representation of wrestling. It doesn't even lie in its realistic representation of Kinnikuh Man as a concept, really. It's just they created a fast moving set of moves that all kind of play into each other from a skill-based perspective. It is not just from the lockup you do this. It's like, no, if you can get around behind a guy, you can hit A and do a backdrop. If you do this, like they start to create something more like that rock, paper, scissors structure that you would want. That's not to say that Muscle Tag Team Match is like extremely well balanced or that anything else like that, but it also has like incredibly overpowered and over the top special moves, which are like really fun to do and see. And I think a lot of that goes a very, 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 very long way. People don't respect muscle tag team match. And I understand why, because like at first glance, it's a very silly thing, but there is a weird depth to that game, along with like a good set of like fun moves, like bouncing into the ropes and doing the kind of flying dive off of it. Like there's a lot of like fun little shit in that game. And then where is Tecmo World Wrestling on the list at this point? Yeah. So pro wrestling, I would say, is better than Low G Man, the Low Gravity Man. It is better than Muscle Tag Team Match. I would also say it's better than Tag Team Wrestling, which I think the thing about Tag Team Wrestling is they do a really good job of breaking out of that button mashy thing, which is funny because you're still mashing the button, but you're hitting the button to select which move you want to do. Tap A 6 times and it shows the name of the move you currently have selected on screen, and you kind of button through them really quickly and execute. And I think that's a fascinating way. I think tag team wrestling, a lot of it kind of suffers because the enemy, like the AI, just occasionally turns red, and when that happens, they're just invincible. And so there's a whole thing you have to deal with around that is sort of unfortunate. But that's sort of the one downside of that game. I think tag team wrestling does a really good job of representing something closer to, I don't know, and part of it's because you don't really do you just from the lockup you select these moves and then an animation sort of plays out, and so where do you stand to hit this and land this is really not as much of a factor because your strike initiates the grapple. It's not a game about we're striking and we're grappling. It's really just like, okay, we're going to get to this grapple, and then I'm going to do drop kick. Then I'm going to do a neck hang, like a chokehold type thing. Like you kind of get right into it. And I think that's effective. Even outside the ring, you can pick up a chair, and even that is like you got to kind of hit buttons to do that. To mash a guy's head into the turnbuckle outside the ring, that's like 7 button press. It's an interesting way to kind of tackle the realities of recreating a professional wrestling match inside of the 80s of all things, where these systems were not necessarily capable of doing it. It's better than tag team wrestling. Pro wrestling is better than Boulder Dash. It's better than TMNT 3, The Manhattan Project. Is pro wrestling better than Castlevania 2? I suppose it is. Yeah. It's better than Karnov. It's better than Super C. Scientifically speaking, it is better than Strider. That's another one that, if this were just my list of my games I like, Strider would not be better than Strider. These are kind of heavy comparisons, like it's okay. It's better than Kickmaster. It's better than Mighty Bomb Jack. Pro wrestling is better than Xanac. It's better than Trojan. It's better than Balloon Fight. Is it better or worse than Tecmo World Wrestling? I think that's a really interesting, again, Tecmo World Wrestling, I think, does a great job. an amazing job presentationally for its era. Oh my God. You know? I think the simplicity of pro wrestling is kind of a point in its favor. And so even if it's not like an amazing representation of, you know, of whatever, I think pro wrestling beats out Tecmo World Wrestling, if only like ever so slightly. It's better than Commando. It's better than Kung Fu. It's better than Fire and Ice. It's better than Fire and Ice. It's no Goonies 2. It's, you know what? It's no Mega Man 3. Pro wrestling is better than Metal Storm. It's no Faxana Dude. Cobra Triangle is a better game. It's better than Tecmo Super Bowl. It's better than Hudson's Adventure Island 2. It's no Castlevania. It's our new number 36. What is this, 119? Yeah, 119. It's a really respectable game. Again, if you would just ask me to do this list by memory a couple of years ago without revisiting the games, pro wrestling would be damn near the bottom. I was very much like, fuck this game. Holy shit, it's fucking bad. Why do people like it so much? I see why people like it. Like scientifically speaking, I see why people like it so much. I don't know that I like it nearly as much as they do, and I think that they are over investing in a game. But at the same time, it's got a really like wonderful and interesting cast that like have like a whole fun. Yeah, it's fun. Next up, Graz wanted to see this game that it looks like the opposite of fun. I don't know, man. This is a game where the title sounds a lot of fun, and then every time I look at a video of it, I'm a little less convinced. It's from your friends at Hudson. It is Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom. Many growing seasons ago, there was a place where vegetables lived happily and in harmony. One day, Minister Pumpkin betrayed King Broccoli. He kidnapped Princess Tomato and stole the turnip emblem. He took them to his castle in the Zucchini Mountains. This feels like Mad Libs, like insert a vegetable. He sent his cruel farmies. What up, farmies? Yo, why are you terrorizing all the vegetables in the Salad Kingdom? The poor king died from the loss of his beautiful daughter. But he promised you, brave Sir Cucumber, the princess's hand and the kingdom if you bring them back safely. I guess I had never considered who do we play as in this game. I know it's about a Princess Tomato and a Salad Kingdom, But I suppose we are Sir Cucumber. Saladoria. That's Dump. The Zucchini Mountains are over yonder. You asking me? I was asking you. Only one way to go. This is the celery forest. There's a baby persimmon. This seems like Deja Vu and Uninvited and all of this stuff was seen through an incredibly different lens, presented from an entirely different perspective. Oh, that seems like a mistake. Do I need to reset to get that flower back? Gonna get 8 hours in and realize, like, oh, I threw away that flower. And now I can't finish the game. Flowers won't help him. Check, baby. Okay, well, we don't really have any water. See you later, baby. Ah, in the pot. Yeah. Take big tree. But that's impossible. Go back is a really bad way to phrase this. I'm Percy. Percy escaped from the farmies. Must go help the melons. Flying cherries. There go the cherry birds. Percy. Percy? All right, well, I'm stuck. Hit fence. Ah, there's someone in the bush. Apparently now there's no one in the bush. There was someone in the bush for a second there. Can I move bush? Okay. Move bush. Look, it's Prince Lettuce. This seems like a fake video game. Now you tell me. There's a passage under the fence. The melons need your help. Should I go get more water? Mr. Pumpkin's farmies will destroy all us vegetables. We must stop him. Okay, so now we have passage there. There go the fern birds. There's going to be an intricate golden egg in this nest, and then... Okay. Oh, there's a forward here, too. Well, before we go through the passage, let's see what's over here. It's some kind of shrine. gonna say, can we like save the game, but start and select don't seem to do anything here. Looking good. We got Napa, Cantaloupe, Pondu, and Watmel. You can get past the gate with guard with it. This is heavy stuff, man. Okay. No, we don't want to give, we want to use. I bet. Oh, come on! Okay, that guard dozes off occasionally and will come back later. This is... Okay. See, I would think, you know, we could put some gold on the shrine or something, but... Ouch, what do you do? Let's go back to the patch here, and maybe if we look in the bush, we can talk to... Checking the bushes, boss. Oh, do we want to move bush? Move bush. Hey, we gotta pass, but it... This is something of a personal question, I think. I don't know. You guys got any more passes, or, Okay. So I wonder if having that additional line of dialogue about this means that I can go back now and he'll be asleep? Because I can't really think of any other... It doesn't feel like there's any other things to interact with on this side of the guard. Yeah. The fuck, Percy? Oh, so... Huh. So does that happen every... So I assume this is kind of like, hey, that's the end of a chapter, and now we are... You know, here's your password, and now you're on to the next sequence. And so Percy drops any items that are no longer relevant to the adventure, right? Like, hey, we're cleaning your inventory because you're not going to need any of that shit. Wait, so is the password the photos, or is it this? Probably a bit of both. All right. Anyway. He looks like a big garlic. An old scholar lives on the mountainside. Go and talk to him. Okay. We're taking this fountain with us. Who am I asking? What do you mean? We're the shot. Percy? Sometimes coins pop out of this fountain. Just need to hit it harder, I guess, huh? Okay, so what do we have? We just have the gold. Okay. Can we put money into the fountain? We got Main Street, we got a deli, and we got a mountainside. He said go to the mountainside. Let's see what's going to block our path from getting up the mountain. It's this guy. I hate the city. Or is this just the old man? Are we... At the antique shop, you can exchange gold for Salvadorian coins. I'm taking Mr. Corn. I'm taking Mr. Corn all the way. Mr. Corn. He can't hear us anymore. He says, gaming to me is a religion, and Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom is the shit. Okay, so he told us about the antique shop. Let's try the deli. This is Miss Peachy. She's from down south. Down south, barbecue ribs fly out of Peach's mouth. Yeah? Alright, well, give me a foot-long meatball on herbs and cheese. Peanut butter and avocado. We have good sandwiches. Take products. Oh. No shoplifting, y'all. I mean, I got 4 gold, but I guess I gotta, what, we gotta turn our gold into Salvadorian coins. Y'all come back in real soon here. Yeah, thanks. Main Street. Cough shop, elect shop, ant shop, juice shop. Check the products. Cat ornament, gramophone, suitcases, vases. Take your time. The minister kidnapped Princess Tomato. We must save her. Anyway, do you want a cat? I thought the antique shop would turn this into Salvadorian coins. Isn't that what Mr. Corn said? Isn't that what Mr. Corn said? God damn it, Mr. Corn. It's full of wanderers, if you get my meaning. You watch out for that waiter at the cabaret. I think we can trust her. Thanks, Percy. Yeah, that's exactly right. Oh. I get you. I see. Here we are in the juice shop. With all these bottles of juice. Smells like juice. Take products. Okay. So is there something... Sure. Okay. A letter for Miss Peachy. Maybe if we do this for him, he'll help us with our gold coin problem. No, I'm supposed to give her the letter. Item? No. Well, I guess she's an eggplant, right? Right. Was that the coffee shop lady? No, it's the sandwich shop lady. Wait. Oh, the deli was a separate... The deli is not part of Main Street. Okay. Now back to Main Street. Now back to the antique shop. Okay, so now we have coins. And we still have the sandwich. I thought we were going to have to give him the sandwich. I don't want to buy any of this stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if we go back to Mr. Corn, he'll have something else to say? Let's talk to you first. I think games like this are fine. It's just, you know, your brain moves at a certain pace and the game can't match it. And so you're just like, okay, button press, move here, move here, move here. Come on, go, go, go. Why not? Hey! It's Mr. Corn! It's a typical shepherd's hut. check garlic. He's a wanderer. No, I want the coins out of the fountain, man. Okay, so back to Main Street. We can buy some stuff here. Maybe. But if we don't have the sign of the resistance, we can't get anything from this guy. I don't know, Percy. I don't know. I have some clover if you want to make more of it. What? Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. I would love to join the resistance. Can you? Yeah. Yes. Can I do that? I got a clove J if you're interested. Cloves. Gross. Gross. I feel like if I'm rolling around with cloves, that should be a pretty big sign that I'm a part of the resistance. Hey! There goes Octoberry! I like this game. It's very... Those damn farmies. Okay. Well, we've got some coffee, we got a sandwich, we got a clove J. Maybe if we go back and talk to the garlic as a drifter, he'll know about stuff. No. You piece of shit. Okay, so yeah, I feel this game on a faster machine with a mouse and with a mouse cursor on it, like totally acceptable kind of point and click adventure style thing. I like its character. You say you don't have donuts, but... I gonna get a frickin' donut? You got any antique donuts? Maybe there's a donut inside the suitcase. So she just gets into a loop talking about drifters. This guy, I mean, let's talk to him a bunch and see if he... You got any donuts? Okay, the cabaret. Is this going to be a new place we can go? Is this... Is anything opened up? Nope. Yeah, I am. Trying to get a donut. If you know what I mean. Mr. Corn, do you know anything about donuts? Okay. So there's something else we can exchange at the antique shop. All right. That's, yeah. That's an annoying way to find a thing. And to just be like, oh, because you clicked this little thing about like, let's look at it. Like, oh, hey, we noticed that there's a cabaret here. We're in the cabaret celery. Wanderers become talkative when they drink coffee. What? Is this waiter trying to hook us up with blow? Well, I don't have any money left. What? Won't even let me do it. Yeah, no shit. Mr. Korn told us. No, who told us that the waiter at the cabaret was a suspect? The coffee shop lady? So they said the coins pop out. So I wonder if because I spent all my money, if I go to the fountain while I'm broke, if that'll be the thing that triggers it to give up coins. Yeah, get a sour sop soda. Oh, man. Oh, fuck you! I already paid a coin. So if I hit the fountain twice, can I get 2 coins? Probably not. Oh boy. Oh, man. Well, we don't have any money. Percy. All right, we have a coin, but we need at least 2 to deal with this dumb situation. The clover was still there after I got it. I wonder if I can sell him more clover. Okay. Main Street. Antique shop. Okay. Okay. Cabaret. Enter the cabaret. Okay. If you check the trash twice, then a donut will appear. Like, that's the stuff that I think, like, is, like, it's bad enough to have to, like, think about, like, these kind of, like, logical solutions to, or illogical solutions, as the case may be. But when they hide it behind persistence, where it's like, if you look at the trash, it says it's pretty full. If you look at it again, it says there's a donut here. I think that's fucking terrible. I think that's a shitty way to manage a point-and-click adventure game. Like, it's an awful way to do this. I also think that, like, the layout of areas and stuff is... You know, the way they have a go back button instead of, like, the name of the area that you're trying to go to. Child? Where? What? Oh, there's a child right there. Okay, yeah. Child is hungry. Okay. Thank you for helping my child. You're very kind. Okay. Okay, that's all you have to say. You wanted the fucking donut. Have a vase. Have my clove J. Yeah, what happened to the garlic guy? I'm so fucking beyond done with this, dude. Say the pharmacy was near the cabaret? Said there were shops out the window. Do I need to, like, open the window and climb out the window in the bathroom to get to where that... Do I just need to check the... There goes Octoberry. Fuck this. This is terrible. Like this is like a really neat. Hi, you want aspirin? Yeah. I see. Okay. So if when I tell him it's for the general. Okay, we have aspirin. Who the fuck is this? Yes, sure. No! Over here at the Anarchist bookstore, you give them the secret code phrase and they let you into the back room. We don't have any new books today. Just Artie Johnson laugh-in style stuff out here. So I bought the flower from her. No? So I think if I showed him I had aspirin, that he might go like, oh, you, okay, yeah, you're... I sure do now. Okay. I fucking... Is there like a magic back room? No? All right. All right, we robbed the bookstore. Much longer password than the last one. Oh man, they picked up sprout, potato, turnip, and mushroom. This is... Games like this are why adventure games are gone. Or were gone for a very long time, right? Like the kind of bad point-and-click adventure with random solutions or obfuscated progress points, you know, like all of that stuff. I think those are the sorts of things that killed that genre. This exists kind of outside of that, you know, different origin story than a lot of those games. But the idea of having to like look at the same item twice or talk to the same person 3 times just to get the thing, you know, with no like, you know, discernible difference in the path that you're taking, because the button only says talk. It's not like talk and then you can ask about 3 different things and one of those things triggers that. You know, it's just like hit the button over and over again to exhaust this stuff. You know, that's a lot of the same type of stuff that I think in the West really harmed this genre. But here you stack on this interface and you stack on the kind of middling speed of this interface. I think it really becomes, it just turns it into a chore. Because there's plenty of things for you to try that don't result in progress, and you're still just like buttoning through them, going. Like it becomes a little bit more acceptable if you're able to just kind of blaze through it and just go like, oh, well, I had to click on this thing twice to get it to, answer me the right way, which is still just, no matter what the speed of the game is, I think that's still bad. I like the idea of it, the vegetable kingdom and all of the other things that the character that it has around that. I think that really helps. They either have too many verbs or too few. Like, do you need to hit or use or this or that? Like, you could have put a cursor on screen, but maybe turning it into an actual point and click adventure would make it a nightmare in a different way. It's okay. I think the setting and the like kind of those aspects of the game, I think, go a long way to kind of make you want to, like, especially now that I know that, right? Like there's the stumbling block of like, oh, well, you don't even have the knowledge that that's possible, that you want to talk to someone multiple times when you go into it. Knowing that now, the rest of the game, I think, kind of unfolds on its own, right? You just kind of go through every option until you've exhausted every single line of dialogue. And eventually you will find the way forward. Which, as I say that out loud, that's not very exciting either. I've heard this game talked about and praised in a lot of scenarios, and I think that's really funny. Now, coming and seeing what this game is firsthand and seeing like, oh, you've made like a first-person text adventure of old, but but obviously like the Japanese development and everything that kind of happens along the way, like that's obviously like the origins of it are a little different, and so the thrust of it, the nature of it, how you interact with it is a little bit different than some of the Western adventure games that would come prior to this. But this ends up being like a similar, in the context of the NES, this ends up sitting alongside Deja Vu and Shadowgate and stuff like that. And I think that this doesn't measure up to those because of the interface, because of the way that they have built the world, the way the rooms are connected. And so they just say, go back, instead of like, you want to go to Main Street, or you want to go to here, you want to go to here. Instead of just always naming everything, to just say, go back, is sort of a weird way to structure your world. I will say that I like the way they've broken it up into chapters and have created a scenario where like they have reasons to strip you of your inventory. And I like that it's not the same reason every time. It's not just the baby coming up and going like, I lost something again. Like it being like, oh, you went to jail and they took your inventory. I think that's neat. It also prevents inventory bloat, which for a game like this, where you're just like trying everything over and over again, if you kept every piece of shit in your inventory through this entire game, that would just compound into an absolute nightmare by the time you get to like the third or fourth chapter. So it's interesting because they account for some of the game's own clumsiness, but that doesn't necessarily stop it from being clumsy. And I think that's the downfall here of Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom is that clumsiness, is the fighting the interface, struggling against the interface, trying to figure out what it wants, having like locations on the map that are just like, that are not like, oh, you unlocked a door and now there's a new area, but just like, oh, you talked to a person and they said, oh yeah, there's a thing, there's a shop behind here. Yeah. You can just go there now. You're like, well, why couldn't I go there before? Like, there's no blockade. It's just like this information blackout that until you trigger the right series of conversations. And so I think that stuff gets like really, unintuitive. Percy as a like hint delivery system is not particularly effective because they haven't written enough hints. They've not anticipated the number of different ways in which someone might get stuck. And they haven't created a situation where Percy says, I don't know, maybe we should go back and talk to this person some more. Like something like that could happen more often to kind of like point you in the direction of like, oh, maybe we should search the trash can again. You know, little things like that I think would help. But making a game that wasn't like that in the first place would help a whole hell of a lot more. This is one of those situations where, like, you know, you could take this game as written, and it feels like you could lightly tweak some of the situations and some of the way information is doled out if you just made some changes to the way some of it is written or prevented situations where you had to search something twice. I think that it'd be very easy to correct a lot of these issues, which is frustrating, you know, because there's a better game here, you know. If they sidestepped all of that stuff, you know, you'd have a better and more logical game on your hands, and I think that would go a long way. Like the bullshit of having to search things twice doesn't give the game a charm. It has a charm, but that's not where it comes from. And all of that adds up to like a game that I would say I'm quite disappointed by Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom, because this is the sort of thing that like you could do this way better. And when we, you know, this had a 1990 copyright on it. I don't know when it was originally released in Japan, if it was way earlier or what have you. Let's look real quick. Okay, so 84 for original Japanese computers. Came out on the PC-88, the 6000 series, the FM7 and the MSX. And then so this is a port that came out on the Famicom in 88. And then here in North America in 1991. This game, with all of its horse shit, would probably feel a lot more excusable in 1984 than I assume it did in 1991. A lot of adventure games came out in that time period that shaped and ultimately pushed us in the direction of discarding the genre there for a decade or so until Kickstarter saved it. Point and click adventure games are the ultimate put your money where your mouth is thing, you know? It's like Lucas decided they were never going to make another game like that again. Sierra, you know, kind of went through its stuff and became not Sierra anymore. And so suddenly there were very few places left. You know, you had to go to Germany to get your point and click adventure games for a good long time. Until Tim Schafer discovered crowdfunding. Or until Telltale, you know, the episodic stuff. I mean, you know, there's obviously there's a little bit more than that. But yeah, it's a shame in a lot of ways, because I think this game could be a lot better. And it's not. And compared to similar games on this platform, whether we're looking at again the ICOM stuff, your Deja Vus, your Shadowgates and such, or, you know, like something like Goonies 2, which has that kind of like has its like adventure game sort of sequences with the point and click stuff like that. Like that's a decent way to handle those sort of sequences, I would say. But you know, this is no Shadowgate, so why don't we start there? This the game's charm does a lot for it, you know. Like, I don't hate it. It'd be very easy to write this game off completely and just like, fuck this. But like, I will admit there is something to the art style, the nature of the tale, and also the way that it feels like it was localized for the American market. I'm guessing here because I have not seen the original Japanese version of the game. But I always appreciate it when you see the When you see Nintendo of America's localization guidelines in effect, and you see a character clearly sitting on a bar with bottles of alcohol behind her, and she's selling grape juice and clover juice, or like the stuff like that, when you see the people in the cabaret, or the just like that sort of content that feels like it was cleaned up for the American audience because of the things that Nintendo would not allow you to put in a game. But maybe it isn't. I mean, again, it's a game set in the Salad Kingdom, so it's totally normal for there to be grape juice and clover juice and all that other stuff. So it may very well be that the original version of the game traffics in the same type of thing, just for setting reasons. But yeah, like a few too many commands that could be deduped in some ways. It's a game that gives you the runaround. It's no Shadowgate. Akari Warriors is a better game. Arkanoid is a better game. Solstice, The Quest for the Staff of Deimos is a better game. Is Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom better or worse than Dino Wars, Destruction of Spondyalos? Dino Wars is obviously like a much more straightforward video game, right? You can't get much more boilerplate than run to the right and attack shit, and sometimes you're a dinosaur and sometimes you're not. The obfuscated nature of Princess Tomato is about as different from that as you could fucking get. But it's a tricky one. The Dino Wars is a slightly better game. Spelunker is better, but this is kind of, it's no Marion's Secret Castle, but it is better than the NES version of Prince of Persia. No, it is not. But it is better than Battletoads and Double Dragon: The Ultimate Team. It's our new number 260. It's our new number 260. I'm glad to have played Princess Tomato as someone who has never played it. And it is something that I would be interested in seeing some of the goofs that they came up with along the way. But the things that hold it back, I think, are, substantial. And there you have it. At number 260, Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom. Let's see here. What do we got next? There are a few games that have been on the list for a week or two that we haven't been able to get to because there's just been other games in the way. But next up, Chili Bus wanted to see this one from your friends at Tecmo. Right? We didn't. It's okay. Clearly, it's a Mega Man game. We're scrolling up, and Rockman will appear without his helmet on. Oh. Wait, it's baseball. It's Bad News Baseball. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. 1 player, 2 player, all-star game, 1 player, 2 player, spectator, and password. This is a very crowded menu here. This game's weird because it's like they want you to think it's gonna be Bad News Bears. Because Bad News Bears is a baseball movie. But it's not. It's... It's not a Bad News Bears licensed game. They just made it, they called it Bad News Baseball. All right, who do we got here? We got Steve, we got Don, George, Edward, Bobby, Jimmy, the Critters, Kurt, Will, Jason, Carl, Roger, TJ, Ted, and Jerry. For pictures, we got Mac, Damian, Frank, Sean, Phil, and Travis. Who you fucking, Travis? Let's go San Francisco versus Los Angeles. Yeah, great. RLF. All right, fine. We'll stick with Mac on the mound. Yeah, is it relief? Is it? Right. It's a pretty good. Oh. Oh, he's dazed. Leg it out, man! In the US, did they just see the kind of chibi figures and think, like, these must be kids, and then immediately, like, did they make the jump to, like, Bad News Bears? Like, what? A lot of movement. I like the way that the players fall down dazed when you get them out. Ugh. Cranked. Jacked. Ninja. Jim Home Run. That's my fucking name. Wait. Why was the wrestler from Tecmo World Wrestling at the end of that line? Some great cross promotion. Oh, shit. Went the other way with it. My brother, Rocky Home Run, plays for the other team. The fielding feels a little, or at least like the speed of the throws, like turning two in some of those situations where I was trying to double someone off, like some of the throws felt a little sluggish. Oh. Okay. Off the end of the bat. And it goes. They call him Will Home Run, San Francisco's #1 slugger, number 22. Swinging bunt. Tecmo Rabbit as base umps is kind of as all the umps. Kind of interesting. One will score, right? Okay. Pretty standard control scheme. When you're really good, they call you George 2-run home run. If I hit a grand slam, do I get to interact with the wrestler? Where's my on base? Yeah, I guess he just never rounded first. I was hitting the button to try to. Oh, what the? Okay, a nice error right there on my behalf. A liner. I'll get him to third, right? Oh, no, it won't. Conservative AI lets me run back. Nice. Ho! I do like the voice sample for out. Change up the music a little bit. Every few innings, okay. This game's fine. I gotta stop, check, swing, and then follow through. Like, it's not getting me anywhere. I keep doing it. I keep letting off the button. It's like it. I feel like maybe RBI Baseball finishes the swing a little bit earlier in the animation, and so you can't check swing that far into a swing. But this one has no. Called shot. Pointed at the stands, and then he cranked one out. Steve home run is at it again. Yeah, what? These kids to a dentist. Oh, so close. Steve home run is on the cream and the clear. It really feels like Tecmo sat down and said, we can make our own bootleg family stadium, and then they did. Like, I don't think this is as sharp, and it feels a little off in a couple of ways. Ball. Really good voice samples, though. But this very much seems like they wanted to make their own family stadium game. Advance the runner. It's all, it's all small ball, baby. See? This pitcher is done. Oh, no! Oh. Maybe a few too many bobbled balls. Oh, Carlos. We're going to take out Mac because his time is up anyway. We're going to put in Ted. So I guess these are individual position ratings here for catcher, first, second, third, short, and outfielder. So Ted can only play outfield and he's just a C. But that's okay. He's going to pinch hit here. Great job, Ted. Great job. That's interesting to have individual ratings like that on a per position basis. So is it going to force me to change pitchers, or will it let me leave Ted? Okay, no, it will not. So this is going to be stamina based on, and is this how good they are in relief? Is that the RLF? So Travis is going to be a great reliever. Frank will be all right. We'll go with Frank for now and save Travis as a closer. Players are where you think they should be. Speaking as someone who has played a lot of RBI baseball, I feel like the developers of this game did as well. They sat down and looked at what Namco was doing and said, okay. Ah. Slow roller to the wall. That's a neat little scene. The rabbit ump in that scene also. Oh, shit. That's nice. You know, like the Tecmo games were known for their cutscenes. From Ninja Gaiden all the way on down. I chose to run the wrong direction there, and it cost me. Bobby. There you go. Oh. Okay. It'll still drop. Oh. I like that they don't play. He's not even throwing to second. Okay. Oh! Oh! Flew a little too close to the sun there. Trying to just grab that one. Batting feels generally okay. I feel like the batters have a little too much pop. When you're hitting it off the end of the bat, I feel like I've hit some pretty long shots off the end of the bat, which feels a little weird, but that's mostly just in comparison to RBI as opposed to... It's not necessarily wrong. Get up. This is nice. You know. It feels like a little off. You know, like there's little bits and pieces of it that I think nice relay. Okay. Today's home runs: Jim, George, Rocky, Steve, and Will. But again, you know, they made themselves a very acceptable family stadium knockoff. We just get right back into it and we can just play against other... Okay, so LA is not on the list anymore. So I guess you just kind of have to... I mean, it gave you a password, so that's why. Let's see. I'm curious about stamina on the... Why does our catcher have an A for outfield? And we got TJ on the bench. No, it's because Steve has 20 home runs. Okay, so yeah, stamina, obviously a factor here. Where Mac is still not recovered, so you can't just... But they do let you try. I mean, you can if you want to. Which I want to say RBI was like... You cannot use the same starter 2 games in a row. Ultra and Super. We got Oscar, we got Buzz. We got Bruce and Jack. Fred and Bobby. Got Carlos over here. Marcus. All right. Ultra League. This is fine. Yeah, I'm curious what this came out as in Japan. And I'm going to look that up real quick just for my own. Gekito Stadium is what it was released as there. Which I guess doesn't necessarily immediately say these are meant to be kids. So I'm guessing that's a situation where, like, this game came out in Japan, and then when they looked at bringing it over, they thought, well, are there, you know, what can we do to, you know, give it a hook? And so they tried to make it look, you know, they just capitalized on the art style that was already there and said, oh, these are kids. It's funny because the box actually says you can play as girls teams, but that's like a code. It's not something you can just, like, you have to have 2 controllers plugged in and do shit to unlock girls mode. But that's still a cool, I mean, it's a neat feature. This is fine. It's no RBI Baseball 3. Like, that's kind of the, you know, if we want to get into some shorthand about it, RBI Baseball 3, even though it is a somewhat reduced, you know, not as strong as the previous 2 RBI games by some measure, you'd still take RBI 3 over Bad News Baseball. But it's like very close to the point where like they're relatively interchangeable. I mean, that's like like Tecmo went and made a baseball game that is practically, I mean, you know, if the laws were different, it would be illegal. Like they really went out of their way to duplicate Namco's work here on the Family Stadium games in ways that are like kind of not okay. And so in some sick way, they've gone and created the lost RBI Baseball game. It is, you know, because of the things that RBI Baseball 3 does, this ends up being, you know, you could have a conversation about it. Like, actually, this game is a little more true to the spirit of RBI of the previous games than 3 was. Because in 3, they decided to try to make it a little more realistic, and they traded out all the music and all the Japanese stuff. They're like, well, let's make it more like American baseball. And it's a worse game as a result. Because Japanese baseball is way cooler than American baseball. There's none of the teams in the MLB are named the Ham Fighter. You know, there's just from the top down. I'm gonna go find my Yomiuri Giants hat and start wearing that again. Is it in? Do I have it? It's in the garage. Anyway, this is really close to RBI 3, and I feel like it's going to kind of rank right around here. And it's going to rank right around here because I think the game they've made is better than Bases Loaded. Like, their RBI knockoff is still better than Bases Loaded, but it's no Super Spike V-Ball. It's our new number 154. That's better than I thought it was going to be, you know. And it's not the only, like, Tecmo made another baseball game, right? Like, they made just Tecmo Baseball, which is sort of weird that this is there too. But, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. That's fascinating. Yeah, that's it again. It is so close in such a really specific and weird way. Like it really, they had to have sat down and said, we want to make this game, because of how close they get in so many different in so many different ways. Let's see here. I think we can get one more game in before we got to go here. Tim wanted to see this one. Is this a licensed game? It is a licensed game from your friends at Jalico, the City Connection people. It's Racket Attack. I don't know, put tennis balls over the A's. Oh, I already have questions about this. Oh no. Look at the way that moved. Gray ground strokes. Jansko. This woman's name is Jansko. James McKay Barry with an E. Juana Orkler. Let's go with Gray. It is picking Juana. We'll go with hard. Oh no, the movement on this is...
Love. 15.
Oh. B to toss it up, A to hit it. There is a momentum on this movement that is absolutely awful. Holy smokes! The absolute absence of responsiveness.
40.
All right, we got to dial it in. Got to dial in the timing.
Love. 30. Love.
That bounced off me and not the racket, so I guess you gotta. It's too real. If anything, they made it too real.
40. Love.
And it will swing in the direction you're facing, even if you're.
Out.
Look at this crowd.
Out.
Just tap an A here.
Love. 15.
I like that it sounds like he's hesitating because there's enough hiss in it that it goes, love. 15. Ah.
Love. 30.
This camera is inappropriate. The movement is simultaneously
40.
like it's hard to get moving and it's hard to stop moving. Like you have to stop short because the animation will carry you a little further than you think it should. And so you'll get misaligned that way, but also it takes a little bit longer of a press to get moving than it feels like it should. It's just the feel of it is real bad. And the jittery nature of this camera here is inexcusable. Also, I think especially in this era of games, the ball should not be hitting the player and going to a dead stop. I feel like the game should be automatically adjusting and only really looking at your overall timing to sense whether you hit it or not. I think like that is like it's too big of an ask on the player positioning. At least during the serve. Like here in the game itself, it's not as
30.
awful, but
15.
dude, this is the camera change, the length of time it takes for that camera change.
$40. 15.
Ugh. I was dizzy all night last night. And I don't know why. I'm feeling fine now, but I woke up feeling dizzy. Thanksgiving's too hard or something. I don't know.
Love. 15.
But the movement on this, the camera movement on this is not helping.
Out.
Fuck you.
Love. 30. Out. 15. 30.
Yeah, get that one.
30. All.
Just want to hear this man say deuce.
$30. 40. Out.
Well, we're never going to now. I feel like games like tennis games that
15. Love.
that stick to the rules of tennis, meaning like that you're playing enough games for a full set. That's too long. That's too much for one game of tennis.
$30. Love. Out. 40. Love.
Yeah, take that. Hit that fucker. This feels so bad, man. This is Ugh!
Love. 15. All. Out. 15. 30.
So it seems like if I swing early enough, the ball doesn't collide with me. Like it'll still kind of swing through.
30. All. $40. 30.
40, 30. A number station rattling it off at you with how fuzzy it all sounds.
Deuce.
Ha!
server. Deuce. Advantage, receiver.
What? Brovsky! Brovsky and Gibco are on that grass.
Love. Let. Out.
Like the character, like look at the size difference, the way they try to render distance. Like it just looks crazy.
30, 15. Out. 30, all.
Gibco.
Love.
Yeah, the you don't get a good sense of contact. Like it's just nothing about this is good. I think it looks real bad. It feels even worse. I kind of like the voice samples, but only because they're so hissy and shitty sounding. Like that speaks to me, you know, as a fan of lo-fi audio.
40, love.
As a fan of fun noises, I feel like the scratchy, shitty digital audio is pretty good. Like the characters themselves are so choppy looking when they move. Like it simultaneously feels like it's missing a billion frames, and also it has still somehow has too many. Like they went to cut frames of animation to make the game fit in a reasonable manner, and cut all the wrong frames. And yeah, I mean, you know, great product placement for Wilson here.
Love. 30.
The speed change on those is kind of wicked. I'll give it that. Like if you really get up to the net and like you just smoke that fucking ball. Like it's got that going for it. Oh.
30, 40.
This game's bad. It's a bad game. Racket Attack.
it's a mix of everything there. It's the camera, it's the way the animations look, it's the way the animations play out, and how the whole game feels to play. Like the standing animation for your player looks really awkward. I mean, obviously, like supposed to be like a tennis player kind of hunched over a little bit, but it just, the perspective is so messed up. Your character looks so large compared to the other one, even taking into account the length of a tennis court. Like the whole thing just feels off in a very broken way. The music is just dog shit in a way that it's really magical. When did this game originally come out? That's the thing I'm curious about. Because if you told me this game came out, okay, so 88, 88 in both places. Okay, so 88 in Japan as well, which seems late for how shitty that game is. If you had told me it was like an 86 game in Japan or something, I'd be like, all right. Your friends at Toes made that. The Toes people, maker of a lot of fine software, some great NES software over the years. The truly alarming statistic here on this page I'm looking at is that, again, apparently the game came out in Europe in 1994. Imagine that. Imagine the same year the PlayStation was released in Japan. Racket Attack. Almost seems impossible, right? Yeah, this is it's not good. Racket Attack, where's it go on our list? It's no bases loaded, though it does have a, I mean, it is like the same naming convention, right? Because it's and same developers, remember. Because that's the same. Bases loaded is like Morero. I can't pronounce it, but Moero Pro Yaku. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. It's like they have a similar naming convention in Japan for the tennis game and the baseball. Jalico used that across a lot of their sports stuff. Try to unify it into a line. I know I'm butchering the pronunciation, but here we are. It's worse than Bases Loaded. It is worse than Batman Return of the Joker. It's no Kiwi Craze, a bird-brained adventure. It's certainly no Dino Wars. Destruction of Spoonyless. Town and Country Surf Designs Wood and Water Rage is a better game. Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf is a superior product. You'd be better off with a copy of Defender 2. It's no Kid Clown in Nightmare World. Should have made a prequel about the Daymare, I think. It's no Paperboy 2. Not by a long shot. 1942 is a better game. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Way better. Ikari Warriors 2 Victory Road. Better game. I'm going to say better digitized audio. Even if it sounded shittier, it's still better, if you know what I mean. You'd be better off with a copy of Big Nose Freaks Out. It's no Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Magic Johnson's Fast Break's a better game. You'd be better off with a Jungle Book. Hell, you'd be better off with Hattress. Ugh. WCW World Championship Wrestling is a superior product. It's no Ikari 3 The Rescue. Jordan versus Bird 1-on-1 is a better game. But it's better than John Elway's Quarterback. But it's no Ultimate League Soccer. And it is worse than Rock and Ball. It's our new number 497. And there you have it. Number 497 on our list of 640 games, Racket Attack from Jalico. That's going to do it for us here today. We did not get to Casino Kid 2, but we will leave it on the list and probably check it out next time. So, yeah, have yourself a good weekend. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving if you're in a part of the world that celebrates that. Otherwise, it is a double XP weekend, so I hope everyone has may all your weekends be double XP. No? You're gonna try that out. Try. I think it's good, right? It's good. It's good stuff. I'll see you next Friday with more. I'll be back on Tuesday with the podcast. Take care.